Before the stone flew, before the giant fell, before the crown, the songs, the fame, there was a boy who no one saw, no one believed, no one chose. This is the story of David before Goliath, the years they never talk about, the years of rejection. David was not the strongest in his father's house. He wasn't the tallest. He wasn't the loudest. He wasn't even considered important enough to be remembered. When Samuel, the prophet of God, came to Jesse's house to anoint the next king of Israel, Jesse proudly brought out son after son, the tall son, the strong son, the warrior son. But one by one, the anointing oil stayed still. Samuel was confused. Finally, he had to ask, "Are these all your sons?" Jesse hesitated. "Well, there is still the youngest," he said. "But he's out keeping the sheep." Notice how he said that. Not, "He's training to be a king." Not, "He is special," just, "He is with the animals." A complete afterthought. They actually had to send for David. He wasn't even invited to the most important event of his family's life. So David arrived, dusty, sweaty, smelling like the fields and the sheep. And then the unbelievable happened. The oil was poured on his head. God chose him. Heaven marked him. Destiny itself reached down and touched him. But here is the secret that most people don't understand. Being chosen doesn't mean you'll be celebrated immediately. In fact, it often means the exact opposite. The very same brothers who watched that sacred oil run down his face would later be the ones to mock him, doubt him, and dismiss him. On that day, David was anointed in private, and then he was sent right back to the fields as if nothing had happened. There was no throne waiting for him. No crown, no cheering crowds, just more sheep, more sun, and more loneliness. He was a king in waiting, but his reality hadn't changed one bit. That field of isolation became David's classroom. It was his training ground. While his brothers were back home, training with swords and learning the art of war, David was training with a simple sling. While they were learning complex military tactics, David was learning patience, watching over a flock that couldn't care less. While they were chasing applause and approval, he was learning to worship God in solitude. Think about it. The sheep didn't clap for him. The sheep didn't praise his songs. The sheep couldn't even understand the music he played on his harp. But David kept playing anyway. He kept singing anyway. He kept worshiping anyway. And sometimes a lion came for the flock. Sometimes a bear came. And with nothing but a stick, a few stones, and a deep-seated faith, David fought battles that no one ever recorded. There was no audience, no reward, no recognition, just him, God, and the fight for survival. Years passed. The scene shifts. Now, the entire army of Israel stands trembling before a 9-foot giant named Goliath. And who was in that army? David's brothers, the trained ones, the armed ones, the ones who were supposed to be brave. And they were all terrified. Meanwhile, David was sent from home with bread and cheese, not a sword, not armor, just lunch for his brothers. He was the delivery boy. And when he arrived at the battlefield and saw the national paralysis, he asked a simple, honest question. Why is no one fighting this giant who defies our God? His eldest brother burned with anger. Not at the giant, but at David. Why have you even come here? He sneered. And with whom did you leave those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your pride and the wickedness of your heart. Imagine that. God looked at David and saw a king. His own brother looked at him and saw a prideful, irresponsible nuisance. David simply turned away from the insult, but he did not turn away from his calling. They finally brought David to King Saul, a shepherd boy standing on a battlefield, a youth among hardened veterans. When David declared, "I will go and fight this giant," the king must have laughed inside. "You are just a youth," Saul said, dismissing him. "And he has been a warrior from his youth. Even the highest authority in the land didn't believe in him." In a last-ditch effort, Saul placed his own heavy armor on David. It was the armor of someone else's calling, the weight of someone else's experience, the burden of someone else's confidence. David tried to walk in it, but he couldn't. It wasn't his. "I cannot go with these," David said, "for I have not tested them." And he took it all off. Sometimes, the very thing that is meant to protect you will actually limit you if it is not yours to wear. So, as David walked toward Goliath with nothing but a sling and 5 smooth stones, the giant roared with laughter. "Am I a dog?" he mocked, "that you come to me with sticks?" He cursed David. He threatened to feed his flesh to the birds of the air. But what Goliath didn't know was this. He was facing a boy who had only trained for one day. He was facing a boy who had been trained by years of rejection, by mockery, by isolation, and by unseen battles in the wilderness. That lion in the field had taught David courage. That bear had taught him timing and precision. That loneliness had taught him an unshakable dependence on God. Every moment of his hidden life had prepared him for this one public moment. David didn't run blindly. He remembered every practice throw, every miss, every correction he made alone in the fields. He slung the stone, and it flew straight and true. The giant fell. In a single moment, the boy they all forgot became the hero they all celebrated. But listen carefully, because this is the part of the story they don't tell you. The victory did not magically erase the pain of years of rejection. The songs of the crowd did not instantly heal the deep wounds of being ignored and misunderstood by his own family. The promise of a throne did not erase the memory of being lonely in the fields. After this great victory, David became famous. And then he became hunted by the very king he had served. He became lonely all over again. Because sometimes, the same people who clap for your victory will be the first to rise against you when they feel threatened by your destiny. The story of David before Goliath teaches us something profound. You can be chosen and still be lonely. You can be anointed and still be ignored. You can be called by God and still be doubted by men. You can be gifted and still be hidden away from the world. But your hidden years are never wasted years. Your private failures are your training ground. Your rejection is actually sharpening you. Your isolation is strengthening your voice, so that when you finally speak, it carries weight and power. Right now, you might feel like David in the fields, not selected, not celebrated, not understood, overlooked for the promotion, left out of the conversation, feeling like your talents are being completely wasted. But please hear this. The same field that is hiding you is the same field that is preparing you. Your Goliath will come. It might be a challenge, an opportunity, a moment that defines your future. And when it comes, it will not meet a beginner. It will meet a survivor. It will meet a warrior forged in the fires of private battles. Before the giant fell, the boy was already a warrior. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content that goes beyond the surface. Stay strong in your field. Your time is coming.